Hi guys, this is James Terse, Tersse B, back on the old squat box once again. I'm not doing this under duress or a gun in my head. I've been spending months, well, I've been watching America and Russia for fucking 30, 40 years. Yeah. China, maybe not so long. They didn't really raise their head to the mid 90s, really, in a lot of people's eyes. I miss them as well. I was, well, we had all been distracted with the Middle East, you know what I mean, through the 80s and 90s and 2000s. Well, anyway, yeah, so, yeah, oh, god damn. We've been distracted so much in life, haven't we? Yeah. So the world is fucking distracted, and, I can't fail to remember, being at school, because, like, yeah, I remember things. I don't know why I remember things or why I remember certain things, but I do remember being taught about the First and Second World War. Besides all the other wars that Britain was involved in, I mean, God, there was what 20 or 30 in India, 14 or 15 in China. And I'm talking about before the fucking 1800s, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, America, you've been around, a reasonably long time. Fuck me, 230 years. Is it as long as that? It's 235, 236 years. 236 years, man. Fuck me, America. Is it 236? You sure? Four? 76, 77. Right. Feet. Anyway, we're not sure about how long you've been what a nation and having problems with nationhood, right? Because this is the thing. I mean, it's like being a single man and then you get married and then, oh my fucking god, I've got to think of somebody other than myself. And Americans seem to be having a problem with that, giving anybody else in the household a voice, letting other people decide whether you're having iced water or carbonated, that sort of thing. But when you've got a household that's divided like that, it's terrible. It can ruin a whole vacation, right? But my God, when you see a bunch of fuckers in the street who think that this is what they want to have in their lives. Do 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 do. Bum 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 alone. We are going to war now. Like swat the scum, kill everyone. Rockets and bullets and marching and death. That's what we worship to put in his best. And yeah, some people will follow that shit. I mean, you look at this and you think, oh, that's terrible. Look at them all. They're all warmongers. Well, America doesn't hold parades to flex. But you know who flexes? Someone who's weak and he's scared of his neighbour, He starts buying in fucking weightlifting gear and all that and making noises and he puts it through so his neighbour doesn't come knocking on his fucking door, That's, Russia and, well, China. China thought they were a big thing until they tried to fire some rockets and found out they were full of water. And this is the thing as well, right? See all these big hold on, right? Let me go back or forward. Right. these big gigantic rockets are way back in the 70s. I think I was like 14, 15 year old, and like, yeah, it's the 70s, you know. I think me and my brother were like, we were wargaming and stuff back then, right? And you know, on boards with dice and shit, you know. Not Dungeon and Dragons, but wargaming, you know. Fighting um, Second World War battles, and we would take aside the Allied forces or the Axis forces, and then we would fight each other with the same. You know, you've got a battlefield, and you know how much you've got on one side and how much you've got on another, and they've given that, and then you know how the battle played out because you can read the cards. Or you've done some history at school when you were a kid, and you know a bit about this, and so you know how the battle went. So you're obviously going to be trying to change that battle, and sometimes even against my brother, who was 4 years older than me, I made devastating. Tactical uh, decisions on a battlefield where I should have lost and totally devastated him. And he also did the same with forces with me. And we realised that a lot of what we consider is, oh, this guy was a fucking battle genius. No. He made the best decision he could, and the guy on the other side made the best decision he could. And when those best decisions meet up, it's a real tough battle, and there's huge losses on each side. When they partly meet up, there's a real heavy conflagration, but one side bears out. But when they get it totally wrong on one side compared to the other side's attack or defense, whatever, you get an unmitigated fucking slaughter. And that's what happens sometimes when you're battle gaming things, you know? And this is why computers are so fucking fantastic for our military. And it's not just whether they're pointing out, you know? We're using the same kind of, you know, algorithms and stuff, and better algorithms, and maybe they should share some of those military algorithms with the weather people, but then the Russians and the Chinese and the Koreans and all them, they all get, you know, they all get the new algorithm, you know, but they probably already got them. So let's just update the weather, right? Everybody's looking at it on their phone. They're not caring about your fucking rockets. And this is what I've got to say, man. All these big rockets. I said back in the 70s to my brothers one time, we were all, you know, as I say, war games done. And I said, what if the Russians are just playing the Americans and they're just digging lots of like holes in the ground and putting a cap on them and saying there's a rocket in there and just putting like, you know, a couple of pounds of uranium in a fucking lead box with the lid off pointing up at the sky. And you know, that would be a way to fucking make America burn a lot of money. Obviously Russia burnt a lot of money digging holes and concreting them and all that, but is there a rocket in there with plutonium in it? Or, you know what I mean? It's like, how many actual bombs did Russia make? Russia did a lot of things, but they overspent, and they were under quality on almost fucking everything that I can see. Even the Russian cosmonauts and that said, yeah, this shit we went up in was held together with chewing gum and fucking tape. And goddamn, the sweat in the fucking capsule could make the cards that you were feeding into your fucking computer go soft, so the computer wouldn't read it. And now what you're going to do, your computer doesn't know what to do anymore. You have to dry the card out and press it hard enough so it goes in. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you've never heard any of these fucking stories. I mean, but back in the 70s and 80s, there was a lot of stories, you know, coming out of Russia Russian supposed cosmonaut people who worked in the cosmonaut training facility, they all came out of fucking Russia. They all escaped into the Western world, anywhere near that wall coming down, bang, and they're all writing books and telling you how horrible Russia was. And yeah, I suppose all of that was exaggerated in order to sell the book and get enough money off in the West until at least they could, like, get a job or whatever, or become a Russian spy. I'm sure that was always an option after you came to fucking Europe. But and I'm sure they've got lots of people that came here with the best intentions and now they're being paid by Russia. I don't blame these people, but it's, I can't treat them nicely when we find them. And I think we found a lot of them in America. America, you got so many spies. You remember when Britain had that, all those Oxford or Cambridge students had been recruited to the MI5, MI6. And then, like, 20 years later, Smiley's people and all that came out, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, that sort of era, right? And yeah, there was a whole load of people who and just insinuated themselves into your highest echelons of intelligence services. And America seems to think that we're number one, nothing bad's ever going to happen to us, but look at what's happening to you. Look at what is happening to you. America, look. Stop reacting to, being upset, people poking you with a stick. Just stop and step back, take a breath, and look at what is happening to America and compare it to America 10, 15 years ago, and then wonder what the fuck is going on. Because it's not the kids. It is not the kids. And it's not computer games. It is fucking not computer games. And it is not fucking gay people. Or transgender people. Or people who are different from you. That is not what's going on. What's going on is your brain has been infiltrated by some kind of weird signal that's rearranged your thoughts so that you think that up is down, good is bad, and gay people are the devil. And it's like, the devil is the pastor who's taken your 10% tithe, going to Las Vegas and buying a hooker, a male hooker, and paying that hooker partially with drugs that he snorts off his ass when he's pumping it with his dick. That is what America has become. So, Christians, Donald Trump, why do you think he wobbles around a lot? He's got a huge butt plug up his ass. He can't walk straight without that butt plug. It's a thing his father taught him down in Mexico, where he lived, I think, for a fair part of his time. And, oh my God, didn't he love Putin when he met him? Didn't Donald Trump just fall in love with Putin? Like he was a burrito or something. Yeah, it was absolutely like, oh my God, I've met my gigantic love. A walking burrito. Because that's what Putin reminds me of. Gutless, bald, tasteless as well. Most burritos in Britain are tasteless, so I'm classing all these burritos on British standards, right? Not Mexican or Russian or American. British standards. British Doritos. What Doritos? Burritos. Burritos, burrows, or I forgot. Is he fucking donkeys or eating? The one thing about is like cheap slop wrapped up in a kind of corn pasty shell thing. Anyway, So this is what we're seeing. This is Russia. They make these gigantic weapons. Look at it. They even put lights in them. They even, or is that just painting? It could be painting, but it looks like they put lights inside it to make it glow. You know, but this is the kind of thing, the theatre. Look at these people on the side. Oh, look at how big my penis is. This is Putin, you know, saying to the world, look at how big my penis. You come against me and we'll launch this. That thing is probably an empty shell made of cardboard. Their tanks break down on ceremonies. For fuck's sake. Every nation in the world knows that you've got to make sure that in a ceremony your soldiers aren't going to faint when they stand in the sun for 4 hours. So they stand the soldiers in the sun for 4 hours for 3 months. And anybody that faints, well, you can't be there when the Queen passes by, because we can't have you fainting in front of the Queen. Only the soldiers who can stand in the sun for 4 hours get to stand in the sun for 4 hours waiting on the Queen. So it's an easy way out, and it just fall over and pretend you fucking fainted. Thank God the British people aren't as slack as the Americans. Can you imagine, you know, oh, well, if you faint, you know, in the next 3 months, you can't attend the presidential ceremony of inauguration. And then they found out, oh my God, we've got like, you know, 218 people left to guard the citadel. Have they fainted? You know, yeah. Yeah, well, they all got bone spurs, was it? No, they all fainted. You know. America, you're the laughing stock of the world, man. And now you're going through it again. You're going through it again for the second time. For the second time, America. The second time, really. You already won it. You won. Biggest fuck up in the world as a nation. Ever. After such a brilliant start. No, I've got you. The whole world is going to mix up. Bro, what a fucking start, man. First World War, Second World War, whoa, you were the fucking man. Well, when after two and a half years you eventually realised you were in the middle of a war, whether you wanted to fucking be or not, you were in. But eventually, you were convinced, you're in a war. Yeah, it took the Japanese to kick you in the balls, but you fucking woke up after that. I've got to say, when you wake the American people up, they fucking don't get a move on, you know. They are brilliant people. They're like the Brits. They are probably the closest nation to the Brits in the world. Not all of them. I'm talking about the good ones. Anyway, eventually America's going to wake up and realise, oh fuck yeah, what was I thinking? Of course Europe's important. Of course democracy's important. Of course, if I let Europe die, then I've wasted the last 230 years of being a democratic republic and trying to change the world to be like me. Now America's like, fuck yous all, I don't care anymore, I'm just going to sit here and cry my little corner because you didn't love me enough. Oh. You know, it's like we're all having problems as well, America, you know. We understand you've got problems. We have the same problems. We've got racists as well. And some of them are in high positions of power, just like your country, you know. But you can't just give in to them. It's like the bully in the playground, you know. As long as you keep saying, okay, we'll let you do this, okay, we'll let you do that, oh, you've got the law on your side of it. It seems so long as you keep doing that, they'll keep pushing you, and the next thing you find out, they've pushed you all the way to the edge of the fucking known universe, and you're going to fall off. You've got to push back. You've got to push back. You've got to tell them, yeah, your niggling little point means that and I'm wrong there, but the main fucking review of fucking life means that you're fucking wrong. You're a horrible cunt. So push back at them. Call them a horrible cunt. Get out of here. Why are you bringing these insane ideas to fucking, the discourse, the social discourse of the world? You fucking moron, Nazi, fascist cunt. Fuck off. You've got to push back. These people are bullies. You don't even need to kick them in the balls. You just need to let them know that you will kick them in the balls if they don't back the fuck off. And I tell you, British people, it normally takes a kick in the balls. But I've found with American people, like Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, well, multiple others. Oh my God, you've only got to tell them that I know where your balls are and I've got a foot. And they are backing the fuck off and running away and, agreeing with you on everything. You know what I mean? Apparently that's what Donald Trump did. You know, he says, look, I've got a big foot, and if I could only stand on one leg, I would kick you in the balls and know where your balls are. And they freaked out and ran off like what was scared fucking cowards. Anyway. So, this guy, oh my God. This is what Democrats in America should be like. And a lot of people were scared of this guy. And to be honest with you, I don't know if the guy's for real. Because Americans, right? We're Americans. And he's a politician. And he's saying all the right and wrong things at the same time. Like a Republican, but he says he's a boy died in the blood Democrat. So do I want to bully him? No, I don't want to bully him. So, I don't know about this guy. He's very, very dubious. He could be one of the strongest Democratic leaders you're going to see in the next couple of decades. Or he could be like a wolf in sheep's clothing, another Russian Republican anti-democratic plant has come in there to smash the Democratic Party. I mean, they've already broken up the Republican Party, right? Oh my God, they've been at the Republican Party, the Russians I'm talking about, they've been at the Americans' Republican Party for, oh God, it's got to be like 8-9 years now. They've been salty at the Republicans, trying to set them up, and the Republicans have been chomping at the bit, biting the hand off of the Russian that feeds them. And this is why the Republican Party is where it is. They were the only party that reneged on the understanding that politics ends at the border of America. And all international politics is left to the President and the White House. Now, that's the way it's always been up until Donald F. J. Trump. And, well, I think they tried it with Obama, but it didn't work. Well, it didn't because Obama didn't start wars, he was finishing them. And he didn't do that very well either. So I suppose it did work. Yeah, the anti-war thing that they bring in when the Democrats in power. But anyway, this guy, man.
Wake up! The people are sick and tired.
Next time somebody tells you we have a two-party system, say, no, you're wrong. We have Democrats, we have Republicans, and these guys.
Fuck these Democrats!
That's Tom's.
I want to play that again for you guys. I'm going to turn the volume up if I get it. Are you just going to hear it loud if I turn that up? I don't know.
Wake up! The people are sick and tired.
Next time somebody tells you we have a two-party system, say, no, you're wrong. We have Democrats, we have Republicans, and these guys.
Fuck these Democrats! Where's
That's Tom Swayze, who replaced this guy up in New York City's Queens and Long Island district.
I'm going to see, right? I don't particularly know Swayze. I had a very little time working into him over the last week or two. And I didn't do much digging, to be honest with you, but I did have a quick look round. He doesn't seem like a horrible guy. I can understand the battle he was up against. He was in a red district, a predominant district, or had been, he's been lost before. And I think he did a fantastic job to circumvent anything that the Republican could come back with. He negated quite easily, some of the small things at board and stuff like that, which I would have thought would have been easy fucking give for any other Democrat to look at him and say, yeah, we'll let you say you're for tougher border restrictions and stuff in order to win that seat, because it gives you a vote in the House, but yeah. I've got no qualms that, he might have sort of like appropriated some of the Republicans' talking points, but he also was strong on pro-abortion and stuff like that. I don't know why they call it pro-abortion. You're not you're pro-women's rights. You're pro-human rights for women. You're pro your mother and your sister and your daughter having the same rights as you, your father and your son. I mean, how is that a difficult fucking concept for Americans? I don't give a fuck what your religion is. How is that a difficult fucking concept? Your sons and daughters, you and your husband, your brothers, your mother and father, all treated the same. How is that a difficult fucking concept?
He made headlines during his campaign when he called for greater border security, but he was also quite pragmatic. Keep out the bad guys, let in those we need to help our country grow safely and productively.
Look at immigration the same way that other nations do, Don't just say, well, we can't let anybody in we don't like, because there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like somebody. So that's why we have rules and regulations, so that some people don't get into power and then say, oh, it's up to me to decide, and then they find out, no, there's rules and regulations, so you can't be a fascist prick and just ban all Muslims. You know what I mean? There's rules, laws, regulations, international fucking agreements that your country has made with other nations that's been there for 30, 40, 50 years, and you're going to let one dickhead come in there and just say, we don't need that anymore. Why do you think the people set it up in the first place? Why do you think it takes years for these things to be agreed between nations, and then think it's fine for somebody to come in and just get rid of it in a day? Can you understand what I'm trying to say to you, America? Why would you spend the time, money, precious blood you've spent on soils overseas, and then decide that it was all for nothing, you don't care about it? You don't care about the precious blood and treasure you spent on encouraging the world to become more like you. I don't understand that. I wish the British Empire was still in place and that we had quashed the fucking small rebellion in America that we could have squashed and just didn't pay enough attention because we were beating real nations at the time. We had no idea yours would grow to be this fantastically, awkwardly a problem. Get your house in order, America. The world is waiting. I think that was said by I can't remember the name of the guy now. The Tubes, the guy that was singing the Tubes, or was it a breakaway? But anyway, somewhere around about there, the Tubes, the guy for the Tubes, right? Let's just say it's that, but yeah. Something in a lifetime or whatever. I'm very Duncan Stone, that's very late. Very late. It's fucking 8 in the morning. And I haven't had any sleep yet. I intended to sleep, but I didn't get any because I was wondering what the fuck's going on with this shit in America, man.
Historically, the difference between Republicans and Democrats was very little. I mean, seriously, very little, and it still is. The size and role of government can be traced back to Hamilton's Federalists and Jefferson's Anti-Federalists.
Okay. That's when I did seem to start going back to the Constitution, and well, the Constitution says this, and everybody believed it, 50 years ago. Nobody questioned, a president's authority, or he's about to be immune. I mean, why the fuck did Nixon have to be pardoned when he left office? Why has every single other president never claimed immunity for any of the infringements that they were pulled up for? And they were pulled up for many, and could have just claimed if they had total immunity like Trump claimed. They could have just said, "Oh, I'm the president. You can't arrest me." The people who have tried it are people like Trump and Nixon. I think Nixon did that. He tried what Trump's trying today. If the president says it, then it's the law. I think Trump learned from Nixon not to say that, but that's what he's saying without saying it. Tell me if the president says a thing, it's the law, without telling me if the president says it, it's the law. That's what's going on. And you know what? Your court system is fucking courting with death. The Supreme Court should never have taken this up. There is nothing for them to fucking discuss. The only thing they can be discussing is how to change the Constitution and make new law without changing the Constitution and making new law. And I don't think there's a way of them doing that without America noticing they have changed the Constitution and made new law. And when that happens, America could burst into flames, but I don't think it will. I think that the judiciary, the House, the Senate, and the presidency will realise that they are in a real constitutional fucking crisis. People keep saying it's a constitutional crisis because of this thing and that thing, but it's not. When your Supreme Court goes against all evidence of what your Constitution says, what your founding father says, and they're getting notes to each other when they were writing the Constitution, what every fucking scholar who studies the Constitution, has said that the Supreme Court should do. Now, if the Supreme Court goes against all of that, yeah, America is fucked, and the judiciary, the House, the Senate, and the presidency are all going to be in a battle right through to the end of this election cycle. I can even see attempted assassinations, possibly assassinations of House or Senate members. Just, crazy shit happening with these small little pockets of power who believe that they are attached to something important. Your Proud Boy kind of things. There's still groups of them out there. They weren't involved in sex, but they still believe in being involved in sex. They just didn't think sex was the thing, and they're waiting for it. And this is the thing they're waiting on. They know this is the crunch, and they're going to come and defend Trump. There could be lots of murders and shootings. Can you imagine if 13 Democrat senators were shot in the next 3 months? What about 4 Republican MAGA, representatives in the House being shot, killed, murdered, died in car crashes? What would happen with the vote in the House, the Senate? What is going on? This is what America's really got to start thinking about. Because every day Trump ramps up the idea of violence is acceptable. And everybody in America, everybody in the world can see this. America's political system is turning into basically a Eastern European political system. You're no better than Poland under the Russians, or Chechnya under Russia now. You know what I mean? America, your electoral and voting system is diabolical. Every friendly nation is looking at you and saying, sort your shit out, for fuck's sake. You can't go on like this, staggering back and forward when you know what needs to be done. There are changes you need to make to your constitution. There are changes you need to make to your judicial system. You need to make permanent alliances with nations that are like you. You can't have this, a new fucking president and all our fucking, 10 years of fucking negotiations are out the fucking window. You can't be like that. People will not make alliances with you like that. You need to fucking step up and be a fucking partner with people and not just, we're the policeman of the road. Fuck you, you're not the fucking policeman. We don't pay you. We spend our money on building our army up. We don't think we need an army 9 times bigger than the next 9 fucking nations under us, You only need to have an army big enough to make your enemy think twice about attacking. And keep them second guessing about the technology that you may have developed that you haven't told them about, by releasing some of your technology he doesn't have. Diplomacy isn't all about people arguing around a table or, a leader shouting about someone and putting sanctions on. No. Sometimes it's just about letting someone know, look, we've got this new upgrade. Our weapons are now 4 times better than yours. But you should be 3 times better. Now we're 4 times better. And we can make them 10 times quicker and 15 times cheaper, And we're not going to tell you about the technology, just wait you see it in the fucking battlefield, fucker, This is what the West needs to start doing with China and fucking the US, I guess that's the COVID virus getting to me or some fucking thing, I don't know. Conspiracy thing. I'm 62. I'm sitting in my pants, you know what I mean? And no, I don't think I wet myself, you know. I was just checking there. Anyway, but I am drinking whiskies and smoking pot and having a pretty good time. So, America, you're doing well. You're doing well fighting against these Nazis that you got infiltrated. You know, we had infiltrators in our nation as well. We've still got them. They're still there. But we gave them a good slapping down, you know. And France, God, France, France knew when 25% of France voted nationalist, you know, the fascist. France knew they were in trouble, but they seem to. This is the thing with the European model, America. You've got two parties. If one party gets anyway, taken over, right? I'll be back in a minute. Yeah. trousers on. There's people coming. Right, good. You have to excuse me while I. In fact, yeah, hold on. Give me another second, guys. His t-shirt is bogging. I don't want to night. Oh yeah, I like this t-shirt, right? Okay. Oh, let me sit down. I like this this is a great t-shirt. It's a t-shirt from 1998, is it? So I don't know if you can see it. This is the original. What's it with? It's an original t-shirt. You can see it. Met Warriors. I don't know if you ever played the game. Met Warriors, man. It was fucking amazing. Anyway, okay. Enough of my fucking t-shirt, right? So anyway, so let's a little bit more of this guy, because I only found out about this guy about a week ago. About a week ago. And I've only watched about 3 videos, but I kind of like him. Yeah, he's very to the left and very democratic, but I think, yeah, he's very democratic. Or no, he's left and a Democrat, but I think he's very democratic. And he'd be happy if his neighbours all voted for Trump, as long as they understood what was going on and they knew what they were voting for. I mean, I'll tell you the truth, if I had a candidate that was a racist and my neighbour was racist and says I'm voting for him because he's racist, I would say, yeah, cheers mate, yeah. I hope, not enough people think like you, but you're entitled to your ideas and your thoughts and your vote. What I don't like is this idea that people who didn't lose the vote because of fraud claim they lost the vote because of fraud and put everybody in jeopardy, waste everybody's money, fuck all the time up when people could be dealing with real problems, arguing about senseless bullshit. Senseless bullshit, what about me? What somebody calls himself. Mr., Miss, Mrs., Ms. I mean, I meet people and they say, how you doing, what's your name? John. I say, how you doing, John? Hey, what's your name? Jane. What's your name? Miguel. What's your name? Hoka Hartner. How you doing, Hoka Hartner? I'm not putting genders and sex on any of that. It's a name that I can say when I'm working on something and I need to talk to that person so they know I'm talking to them. It's a name where you say, can you come over here? And we've got this thing to go over, I need to know dates, and it's like, it doesn't need to have any sexual or gender connotation. And I've always loved working in workplaces where you don't have to call bosses Mr. or Mrs. or manageress. Or, Agnes, how you doing, Agnes? Daphne, it's, how you doing, James? How you doing, Paul? It's, you get to know each other, you work in that environment, and when you get people who say, oh, don't call me, you're like, what do you mean don't call you John? I mean, we just were introduced, we shook hands, and how you doing, John? How you doing, James? And knew what you're saying. I've got to call you fucking president, fucking Pope, fucking what? I've got to. I can't just say how you doing, John. Like we do with everybody, and that's what brings that stratification into society. People who feel that they deserve to be called something special. I don't know about you, but I mean, even if I met the Queen, yes, I would say Your Majesty, but if we were sitting having tea, just me and her, I would probably say, is it okay if I call you Maggie and you can call me Jim? You know what I mean? I would have a wee joke and say, because these are the tiny little things in life that are never ever going to happen to you twice, probably. And never going to happen to billions of people. You're going to be one of a handful. A list of names that could be written in a book, double spaced, that's only 5 by 8 centimetres a page. And you could print all the names on one page, probably, who are friends with the Queen, like that, who can call her, well, was it? But she's gone now. Anyway. I wonder how many people call the King Chuck. You know what I mean? Hey, Chuck. You know what I mean? Come on, Charles. It's a fucking obvious one. I reckon there's less than one person that calls King Charles Chuck. And yet he needs somebody like that. You know what I mean? I mean, this is the thing I find with a lot of really important people. Even if they came from grounded, beginnings, the process of going through the system, the system that is trying to understand and learn everything you can about humanity, and then defend one group of humanity's ideas against all those other groups of humanity's ideas, even when you know that they're all fucking wrong and we should all be coming together, but you can't do it all at once, so you've got to try and do it in steps, and you've got these assholes that are pulling you backwards every fucking 10, fucking 15 years. And it's like, God damn it, can we just fucking put the full throttle on progression? Can we not just fucking get where we're going? It's like we're in a car. It's a journey, it's a long journey, and the kids in the back are shouting out and screaming that we're there yet. But there's a couple of them in the back that are saying, I need a pee, got to stop every 15 fucking minutes. It's like you're never getting up steam, you're never getting anywhere. It takes them longer to take a piss, you know what I mean, than it takes you to get the next time they're calling for a piss. We're being held back by these people. Oh, God damn, with their jinns and their demons and their angels and their fucking premonitions and these are the sort of people. See, when you watch in a Netflix movie with dragons and ogres in it, and you think, oh my god, no, another fucking dragon and ogre fucking thing. They spent 100 million on that when I could have been watching fucking, something decent, And yeah, that's the fucking world. We spend our time waiting for all these idiots to burn themselves out on all this crazy shit, They have to come to the boil and burst like a fucking abscess, and and then society's got to try and recover and keep pushing forward. And I guess we're in the process of another abscess forming. It's swelling. The pressure in the Western nations is becoming tight. It's not excruciatingly painful, but I can feel it throbbing at the moment, If you know anything about the history of fucking Europe and North America, or the North American continent, I'm not just talking about USA, but Canada as well. If you know anything about the history of the North American continent and Europe, we are intricately tied together. If it fucks up here, you're fucked. I don't give a shit how much money you think you're going to save in taxes if we don't help you now, and if we just keep producing this before we, give our help to the president, we just want to make as much money as possible before the stock crashes, Look, it's going to crash. You've got a plaster on your arm. You can peel off a tiny wee bit at a time. Your hairy arm with all these hairs on it, and it's look at all the hairs on my arm. You can't get look at all the hairs. Look at all the hair on my arm. Look at it all. Look, big hair. Can you imagine big plaster on that? Like a big, what is it? I don't know, bikini wax kind of thing. I think they've got an on there for the end of bikini wax, right? Or you can just go, and it's all one paint, and I'm going, 15 minutes of agonising, pulling hairs out of it. Or you just go, and it's over in 3.5 seconds, your brain readjusts and you're fine, and it's like, well, I'll shave the rest of it later and it'll match, or I've just on one hairy arm because I'm a hairy one-arm bastard. Anyway, so let's finish this.
But today, the difference is there no longer is a Republican Party.
The people are sick and tired of the finger pointing and the petty partisan bickering. They want us to work together.
Hold on. This is where some of the Democrats are saying, okay, well, he hasn't both-sided us yet, but he hasn't single-sided the Republicans yet. And he never does. He never does, and he never needs to. But it's also why I'm dubious about him. But I think he's spoiling anything bad. He has brain. You know how you're talking about people, you think, oh no, I totally have respect for the fellow members of the club. I totally respect their ability and they can come here, they can say they want. But I just fucking think he's a fucking asshole, and look at the fucking state his ears, man. You see that fucking ear? It's like, see when you go off it, it's like, this is the kind of thing, I don't know if he's going to like go off on Biden or Trump when he settles in, you know what I mean? I'm hoping that he doesn't, go off on anyone and try to stick to his guns. If he can stick to his guns and make it through the next election, because I think he's still going to run again in November, isn't he? Because this is just like it was no magic, would you call it? Surprise. Well, it was certainly a surprise. Well, it wasn't a surprise to everybody. It was a surprise to some people. Anyway, surprise to Joe Soros, I suppose, or the Koch brothers. I don't know. It was a surprise. Anyway, he won, and I'm still not sure about it. But he's saying good things. I enjoy hearing what he's saying, but I will leave it there because I think he's probably doing the right thing. Some other Democrats should try and follow him, but don't follow him down a rabbit hole. Follow him to the point where you talk to him personally and find out what his agenda is. Right? Find out if he doesn't have it. If he can't tell you he's got this plan, where if we all start being meek and mild and telling everybody strongly that they've got to work in, work for the people and stuff, it could work and that sort of thing. If he's got, but he is, well, I don't really know, I'm just like, new here and I'm just being me, like, steer clear of the fuckeries or not.
Did you notice that only half the room stood up? Yeah, because those are Democrats.
I know.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't even need to point. See, this also is. This is why I think this guy could be a breath of fresh air into the American Senate. Not the American Senate. You've got the House and Senate. The House and Senate together are called the Capitol Hill, isn't it? Capitol Hill? I think he could blow a breath of fresh air through the Capitol Hill. If he could start to get other Democrats on his side to be speaking the same language, and even get, if he could be less antagonistic with the president and get the president to sanction their movement kind of thing, they put a bill forward and the president supports it, that sort of thing. Yeah, I know. Well, the president supports it, the Democrats, the Republicans are all going to vote against. But I think if you can get 30 Democrats on his side and 2 Republicans, I think he could solidify his place in. He's in the House. There's a House seat in the House. I think he could solidify his place in the House for probably the next 20, 30 years. Just the way that, American politics is.
Oh, there are so many good people in this chamber on both sides of the aisle. But people are worried about the cost of living. They're worried about the chaos at the border. They're worried about Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine. They look to Congress, and what do they see? The extremists get all the attention. We're letting ourselves be bullied by our base. We aren't getting anything done. We need less chaos.
When we talk about people saying truth to power, when we talk about power saying the truth, this is, he's got elected. He was the weak one speaking truth to power, and he got elected, and now he's speaking the same truth as part of the power, to the power. I've got to give him credit. He has stuck to his guns, and a lot of people say, well, these are Republican talking points. No, they're not Republican talking points. A lot of this stuff. I'm not talking about the MAGA or the 2020 election. There are sections of the American nation, communities, whole communities, who have been totally ignored, overlooked, even abused, by the powerful who had the legal responsibility to look after them. And they didn't. They enriched themselves and poisoned people. And I think that should still be dealt with in America as well. Your judicial system needs a fucking overhaul. Oh my God.
And more common sense.
Who could disagree with that? 70 million former Republicans? Let's remember who this guy replaced. And more to the point, it took a year and change to get this guy out of office.
My question is, do you have...
This is great as well. I just love how America looks at these wimp, fucking limp dick, fat, white pricks and think that they're going to do something fucking starty, you know. Anyway, I'll let you listen to this for a minute.
The Republican what has Paul done to help Joe Biden in his
Okay, all right, so that's a ridiculous and silly question. I want to commend you for being the media and telling it Democrat policy. So let me ask you something.
Come on, man, that's been going on for 20 years.
Okay, hey, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. What rate of illegal immigration did we have in 2020? Do you know anything? I asked you a question. Do you know anything?
How long have you been in office?
I've been in office 11 years now. Okay.
The count under multiple administrations.
Except you're okay. You don't get to argue with me. You asked your question. You asked your question. You don't get. You want to hold a press conference? You can do it over there. You want to hold a press conference? You can do it over there.
This is Ted Cruz on the board with Mexico on his latest safari. You can tell because he's dressed up in olive drab like a tough guy. But you can tell he's not that tough too because he doesn't take questions very well, does he? You know, he loves to do his podcast with his friend 5 days a week, I think now. But he sure doesn't like actually answering questions of reporters and constituents about the policies that he's failed to pass. 11 years in the Senate and little to show for it. Well, he's got real competition this time. Last cycle, he only beat Beto O'Rourke by about 3 points. Now he's got Colin Allred, congressman from Texas, running against him and coming on strong. Newest polling from a GOP firm shows him the dead heat just a few months from the primary and even maybe 9 months from the actual election. So I really wanted to talk to Colin a little bit, catch up with him, find out why he's in this race, what his priorities are, put him in the hot seat with FP Wellman. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I'm excited to talk to him. Congressman, man, welcome to the show. Welcome to Talk. I appreciate you being joined us in the hot seat today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Fred.
You know, I opened with a video of Ted. You saw Ted Cruz being beaten up by reporters during his most recent safari at the border. Now he's producing his ridiculously smarmy podcast 5 times a week while flogging his latest book. You know, on top of what we're speaking, you know, just a week after I think it's a week now since the 3rd anniversary of the great ice storm in Texas when he fled to Cancun. I mean, have people had enough of it? Is that what drove you to run this time, sir?
Yeah, well, I felt really strongly. I'm a 4th-generation Texan. I was born and raised in Dallas by a single mom who was a public school teacher. My family's from Brownsville. I went to Baylor where I was captain of the football team. I mean, I know who we are as Texans, and I felt incredibly strongly this guy just doesn't represent us, and that we couldn't afford 6 more years of him podcasting instead of trying to help folks, of him going to our border communities and using them as a place just to point out problems, but then going to D.C. and taking down efforts to try and actually solve those problems. You know, of him being, I think, somebody who, as you said, doesn't care about the 30 million folks he represents. So that's how you're able to go on vacation when we're freezing in the dark and when folks need you to actually help them.
Yeah, and Texans, you know, deserve representation. It's been one of our biggest frustrations with the MAGA movement, which Ted is all signed in for, is that they're just there for themselves to get those TV spots and those podcasts, aren't they?
Yeah, and also, as you said, I mean, he's also got a book to sell. So there's a grift here, you know, where you podcast 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, telling folks all things they should be angry about, and then you say, oh, go buy my book. When that's not actually the job, Fred, as you and I both know. A United States senator has a lot of things they could spend their time on, like trying to better the lives of their constituents, like trying to solve problems, like trying to, you know, be somebody that folks can feel like is actually working for them every single day instead of trying to work for themselves. And that, I think, has really filtered down. The Texans understand that Ted Cruz is only looking out for himself. And I hope that they'll understand over the course of this campaign that I'm somebody who really cares about all of us, that I've been a very bipartisan member of Congress, that, you know, I come to this from perspective of kind of a team athlete where I think we need to come together to get things done. And when you're raised by a single mom, you don't really have time for theoretical ideas. So I want to actually deliver for Texans. We know Ted Cruz has had 12 years of showing that he can't do that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think often I'm a big Ted Lasso fan, and I remember the famous scene in the early season when he's talking to Jamie Tart, if you know the star, and he goes, you're a great player, you're one of the best in the world, you're fantastic, and one of the best. But it seems like you forget that out there you're one of 11.
Yeah.
And I think your background tells you what it's like to be part of a team, and that matters.
Yeah. Well, he's always say you want to go fast, go by yourself. You want to go far, go together. And if you want to actually get things done in a legislative body, which is what the United States Senate is, you have to be somebody who, number one, isn't disliked by all of your colleagues, but also that folks feel like they can trust you and that you can form these kind of bonds and coalitions. And they're sometimes unusual. I mean, the way I got a new VA hospital in my district was by working with some very conservative Republicans in my area, the Trump administration, the actual hospital itself, local leaders, to try and get a recently abandoned hospital donated to the VA. It took about a year of effort, but it was only possible because of bipartisanship and because folks could trust me. That's something that Ted Cruz has never shown any interest in doing. In fact, he would never be able to roll up his sleeves to get something done like that.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. And as a veteran, thank you. I mean, it matters, and the
And
VA has come so far. Well, it's the best I can do. Now, you've been in Congress for a while. You've been since the fallout from the Dobbs decision has unfolded. Texas has enacted some of the strictest anti-abortion laws in the country. Now, this Alabama fetal personhood ruling has sent shockwaves across the country. And I'm reading a lot of reports saying Texas could be next in this battle. I read an article today that couples in Texas are trying to get their frozen embryos out of the state before they get caught in this mess. I mean, they're never going to stop, are they?
No, and it's a tragedy, honestly, what's happening in Texas. We are experiencing what a near total ban on abortion looks like, which is that, according to the Houston Chronicle, 26,000 Texas women have given birth to their rapist child since Dobbs came down. We have stories like Kate Cox, a mother of two, who has a much wanted third pregnancy. She has to go to the emergency room 4 times. She gets the news that we all hope we don't get when we're going through these delicate pregnancies, that the baby's not going to make it and it's a risk to her health. Her doctor says she needs a medically necessary abortion, and her state says you can't do it here. In fact, they don't just say that, they say we're going to prosecute you, your doctor, your hospital. We have counties saying you can't drive through the county if you're going to use the roads to access an abortion. And I've been asking myself, how are they going to enforce that? We're going to start pulling women over and asking them, what's the nature of your travel, ma'am? I mean, Texans believe in freedom, and this is not it. And the only way we can restore this right is at the federal level. I have voted in the House to pass the Women's Health Protection Act. We've gotten it through the House. We've not been able to get it to the Senate. When I'm in the United States Senate, we will. And we'll restore this right for Texas women, for Alabama women, for women all across this country. So you want to worry about in vitro fertilization or anything else, we can go back to having a sane policy around reproductive rights.
It's I live in Missouri myself, and it's horrifying the stories you're hearing, and the damage it does to a state, and it does it to its economy too. I mean, we've seen a flood of businesses. I've seen reports where companies don't want to move to Texas now.
Right.
We're even talking about military members avoiding service at bases in Texas. You have a lot of military in your state. Obviously, I've been to Fort, been down there quite a few times. So the economy is going to be affected. We've got a booming economy right now, right? And these bans will hurt that. I mean, and the economy is something we've been doing. We're going to build on that. I hope. What's your position on where we're going? Are we on the right track economically?
Yeah.
I think?
Yeah. Well, I come from a family where you kind of swipe the debit card and you say a little prayer.
Yeah.
Because we don't pay our teachers enough in Texas. My mom was a public school teacher, and so we struggled growing up, and so I am completely understanding of that any kind of increase in prices. I know exactly who that hits, and it doesn't hit the folks who are at the top, right? It's the folks who every single penny counts. Because I do remember, we'd say, we'd come to the line and say, well, we got to take a few things out. We actually went over what we know we could spend this week, right? So that's why I've always been so focused on growing the economy and lowering costs. And that's something where I think completely differ with Ted Cruz on. Because for example, we tried to cap, we did cap the cost of insulin for folks on Medicare at $35 a month. We try to do it for everyone, because 1 in 4 Americans are rationing their insulin. And as we use the word rationing, but that really shouldn't be called that. It should be called they're not taking the medicine they need to survive.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to cap that cost, lower those costs for folks all across the country. And we weren't able to because folks like Ted Cruz stopped us, right? And when we're trying to lower the cost of child care, if you're going to, take away reproductive rights, take away access to an abortion, then you at least think that you would then try to control and lower costs for childcare, maybe have universal pre-K, have paid family leave, try and make it easier for families to get ahead. I've got a 3 and 5-year-old, my wife and I do. This is an incredibly difficult period. This kind of stretch in those early years for families. And Ted Cruz opposes all of those efforts. Whereas, I was the first member of Congress to ever take paternity leave. I want to make sure that we make paid family leave available to everyone, that we have universal pre-K, that we allow you to have those early years have a chance to build those kind of ladders of opportunity that will allow you, maybe some other kid out there who's raised by a single mom to play in the NFL like I did, become a civil rights lawyer like I did, and maybe run for Congress or Senate or do whatever they want, whatever their version of the American dream is.
Yeah, we lift everyone when we all live together. So it's wonderful. Last thing I'll talk about is I'm the son of a Marine. I grew up with guns. I'm a 22-year Army veteran, and obviously guns are part of my life and my profession. We just had that mass shooting in Kansas City at the Super Bowl parade, which I'm sure you were affected by, especially as a former football player. It just seems like is there a better way forward with guns, and how do we make any improvement on that?
Yeah. Well, I think I want to address this as a Texan because to me, and you and I both know this, Fred, in Texas we have a culture of what I think of responsible gun ownership.
Yeah.
And that's what we've kind of gotten away from. That's the one that I grew up with. It wasn't uncommon when I was growing up when I visited my grandmother in Brownsville, which is in South Texas. And you see a truck driving by with a shotgun in the back window, right? But there was a culture of doing things safely and responsibly. In fact, I went to a camp every summer.
I forgot I was
camp
screaming.
called Camp British Bruce at Foster Kingdom Lake.
Okay, right.
Which is a funny name.
I was away back in doing the dishes and everything there, right. I got a little bit more stoned and drunk than I wanted to. What is this? Hold on.
7-year-old, 22 rifle, but.
Right. Try that. Oh wait. This is
I'm
great.
just waiting on the point that the
Let me just make a point here, right? I know American people are not really stupid, right? I mean, even people who haven't been to college, right? I mean, they can learn how to fucking fix a fucking diesel engine, fix a petrol engine, fix a fucking electric generator, rewire a fucking hen house, and they can do all that and build a whole fucking house out of logs, all that. America, you just can do all that, and then you turn around and believe shit like there's a deep state. There's a bunch of Jews with lasers starting fires in California. JFK's. I thought I'd put my fucking shoe on the wrong fucking way. I thought I'd put my left foot on my right foot. But I cut my toenails today and I think I clipped the quick on my big toe. And it touches anything that makes it feel like it's, anyway. So, yeah. Okay, America, right. I was saying something. Let's just listen to this girl. She says it much better than anything I could say. She lives in America, so it's going to sound better coming from her than me.
American people, in the words of my amazing soror, Fannie Lou Hamer, get to the point that they are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I mean, here's the reality. You're talking about an impeachment inquiry, and we know that Republicans could care less about facts. That is the reason that I said in the hearing in which we were going over whether or not they were going to find Hunter in contempt, I said the reason he would not want to testify behind closed doors is because all they do is lie. And I can tell you there is some lie that they are working on spinning coming up out of here. But let me tell you something. They have done nothing more than lie to the American people over and over and over, and they don't care. And it's because the American people, for whatever reason, are not sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because here's the deal. We have an impeachment that is now pending against Mayorkas, yet we still don't have the high crime nor the misdemeanor. They don't care about facts. They don't care about facts at all. We do. And maybe that's the problem with the Democrats right now. Because we do care about facts. Because we thought that they mattered.
No. It's not the problem with the Democrats. It's the problem with not even Republicans. Not even MAGA. It's the problem with a bunch of people in America who are trying to destroy your democracy. And they're trying to do it through the back door of using your own system against you. Remember, I can't remember what founding father was that said it. Was it even a founding father, or was it a French saying before that? I can't even remember the origins of this saying, and I'm paraphrasing it as well. But it was somebody said something like, the person that comes and destroys your country is going to come wrapped in the flag. And yes, this is it. I mean, who is more wrapped in the flag than Donald Trump? And all these patriots who attacked your parliament, basically. I'm British. Our main deliberation body of the deliberation resides in our parliament. I think yours is Congress. That's it. Yeah, they attacked your Congress, and oh my God, America doesn't seem to fucking care. It's like, oh, it looks like somebody burned down the fucking potato shop down the road. No, it was your Senate. It was your Parliament. It was your most esteemed house. You think the White House is the most esteemed house. No, it's the most known house. But the most esteemed house in America is your Congressional House. Your Parliament. The building where the job of the people, supposedly, is done by the people's representatives and the Senate. Oh my God, the Senate. I guess a lot of Americans don't really know much about the word Senate, where it comes from. Thousands of years of history in a word. But Americans, most of you would rather chant roll away the stone or string her up. Yeah. Like the plebiscites in the street of Rome. Yeah. Also complaining to their Senate. 2,000 years ago. Yeah. Well, there we go. America.
But clearly they don't. All they want is a spectacle, and the spectacle right now is putting us in a sense of danger, not just in this country, but in this world.
And this is the kind of speeches, if you read the Roman and Greek orators, that were performed on the floor of the Senate. Yes, people went to the Senate to give their grievance and to let people know that there was a problem. And senators would listen. Nowadays, we have senators who won't even listen to each other. Never even listen to the plebiscites with their problems. And yet it's written in the Constitution that you, as an American citizen, can peacefully proclaim your I don't know, I'm paraphrasing here, your disenfranchisement with your government, and ask for remedy. Ask for your disappointments to be answered or something, you know. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm British and I'm drunk and stoned, and it's been a long time since I've actually looked at your constitution. I have actually looked at some amendments recently, and I don't understand why there's a problem. I don't understand why your Supreme Court even took this up anyway. What they took up, by the way, I don't know. Right, we'll talk about it later.
It is putting our allies in danger, because right now what they're...
Here's another thing. America. Donald Trump is a fucking liar. And I'm going to explain to you right now exactly why Donald Trump is a liar. I have to go out some, in a minute, so I'm just going to put my shoes on before I do some finishing points and then go out. Right. So Donald Trump, he says, oh, I talked to one of the leaders in Europe, and that leader says to me, oh, if we don't pay our money, our dues in the NATO, you won't defend us. And Donald Trump says, well, I told him, no, if you don't pay, well, are you not paying? And he says, well, let's say we aren't paying. He said, well, if you're delinquent, if you haven't paid your dues, then, yeah, fuck it. We're not going to defend you. Let Russia do it. How do you tell Russia to do it? Do what they fucking want. The thing is, America and Donald Trump, we don't pay into a NATO fund. There is no NATO fund. No NATO country pays any money into any account, and no country in Europe is deficit or delinquent. Like Donald Trump would say. No. What NATO has in its signature to sign up is that countries that join NATO promise to try and spend 2% of their GDP on their military defences. Do you understand, Republicans, what that means? A country that joins NATO says, I'm going to spend 2% of my GDP on guns and tanks and rockets and soldiers and, military equipment, that sort of thing. Right? 2% of the GDP every year. Now, America, I can understand why you're pissed. It's why you're pissed at us with our fucking healthcare as well, right? We get so much more out of our healthcare, and we pay 1/10 of what you fucking pay, right? I get it, America. You're pissed at us, but you're wrong. Don't be pissed at us, but pissed at your politicians, because they've got you fighting about fucking he, she, him, it, right? Wallace and Gromit. Oh no, it's no Wallace and Gromit in America, is it? It's fucking Big Bird and fucking purple blobby thing. And you're fighting about that. And Potato Head Man, or some fucking thing. And border walls that you can't fucking wall a country off. Try netting your whole fucking house. Just you by yourself. Try netting your whole fucking house, right? And then do your neighbours and your neighbours and your neighbours without charging them any money, right? And tell them, oh, I'll get the guy down the street with the, to pay for it. That's what Donald Trump's telling you, and you just sitting there screaming, yeah, USA #1, Mexico, pay for it. Hang them up, kill them, string. It's like, oh my fucking God. If people were screaming that at you, what would you fucking think? Right? But you expect us to sit here and fucking take it. You are fucking insane. Oh wait, that is exactly why this is happening, because you are fucking insane. Right.
They're doing is they're peddling Russian lies. Basically, the Republicans have become synonymous for Russians at this point. It is a disgrace. And
Not synonymous just for Russians. Do you remember the last person before this person, right? There was a last person before this person that ended up being a Chinese agent. Oh my fucking God. The Republicans have already been through this. A year ago, there was somebody else who was a special, person telling them all these special things about Biden's and all that shit. It turned out to be a fucking Chinese agent. A fucking Chinese spy. And now we've got them with a Russian spy. It's like, fuck me. How many other spies have the Republicans got in the wing? Is there going to be an Iranian spy? An Iraqi spy? North Korean spy? Oh God. Is there going to be a pizza spy? I don't know. There could be anything. This thing is just fantastic, right? Fanny, what's her name? Tastic. Oh, I fucked that joke up. Yeah, okay, I'm fucking drunk, but there was a funny, whatever her name is, joke in there, and I fucked it up, right? Let's finish this and get on to the next video.
And I'm just imploring the people to become sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because let me tell you, if there was something that they could tie this president to, I would be the first one to be upset. Because I am a...
This is what I get totally as well, right? And don't get me wrong, I've had this shite in my country. I've seen the Conservatives protect Conservatives fucking tooth and nail, and I've seen the Labour Party protect fucking, because I supported Labour nearly all my life, right? Glad you understand that all politicians are bastards, right? And you can't trust them. But yeah, I thought that the Labour were the least damaging, and it's like in America. I've been watching America for probably about 50 years. And although I was closer to my country, I watched Margaret Thatcher and Tony Blair and all that shit, And I was a big fan of Tony Blair, and I hated Thatcher. But yeah, I had a good reason to hate Thatcher, right? But I had no reason to hate, Clinton or Bush or Obama or like them either. No reason to like her. What I did is what I do in my own life, I go to work and meet somebody at work. It's a new job. I'm there. My first day, I don't tell people too much about myself. I tell them that, my name. I moved here recently, got a job. You know what I mean? And I like to eat fucking tuna sandwiches with sweet corn at lunch, And I don't mind a wee beer at night. That's probably my first days, and football, I've been non-committal about it. I don't really know. I've not really watched any football for ages. I've not had time to, I'm too busy. I'm always reading books and stuff. I've got stuff I've got to get in my head, I'm always with people. And it's funny because I'm the weirdo, right? I think this is perfectly normal to have interests and, come across things you've never heard about, or something you thought you knew. You go, oh, this is telling me that what I was thinking is right. So you go and you read it, and you think, it's only like 30% of people that work in the industry that think that, and it's probably motivated by some new technology or some new mixing method that's coming out. I should build into that, see if I want to invest money. That's the kind of way that I would be thinking, right? Except I don't have any money to invest, so I wouldn't be doing the investment thing. But I'm sure some smart person like me who had money would be thinking along the lines, But anyway, let's go into this. Right?
I am an American first. I was elected by my district to represent them as U.S. citizens. I wasn't here to do the peddling of any president. But at this point in time, just like the BS that we see going on with the other impeachment, there is nothing more than BS. And we know that you can't have something that is built on a house of cards. We know that there is no foundation.
No. I always thought that. You can't build on sand. You can't build on a foundation of cards, because it's going to go. But I've seen it. I've seen it. Donald Trump. His whole fucking life is built on a fucking a tower of cards. And the only reason it hasn't collapsed is because nobody's actually pulled any of the cards out at the bottom yet, you know. They've all been picking at cards at the top, and, you know, little bits fall off, but, it's, you know, the tower stands up. The tower stands up, right? So, no, now we're starting to get down into the meat and gravy. We're getting into the meat and gravy here, right? And oh my God, Donald Trump is being exposed as a vagrant. Donald Trump is a vagrant. I've got £500 or something in the bank, right? Access to another 50 more. I've got an overdraft for 50 quid, so I've got like 550 quid. And I guarantee you that after all this shit goes down, in about a year's time, I've probably going to have more money in the bank than Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the multi-billionaire, is going to be in negative equity next year compared to me. And I don't own any oceanfront properties or golf courses or tower buildings. But I think I'm going to be better off next year, this time next year, than Donald Trump. Unless I'm dead, in which case it won't fucking matter. And unless he's dead, in which case it won't matter. But I'm thinking if both us are alive next year, and he's sitting in a jail cell and I'm not, and I've got £550 in the bank, or 500 and a possible other 50 in the bank, Donald Trump will have nothing. Well, he might have like £8 for making some licenses or selling some mail bags, or maybe he can set up a franchise or something. You know, stitch the Trump logo on mail bags, and maybe the prison could sell them at a premium. You know, mark a little red T, bing, in the corner of the license plate, so that people know that Donald Trump made that actual license plate. Am I giving corporate America ideas for fucking people? No, they already have all these ideas in a list. Where do you think I found it? Yes, they already have all this written up, man. They're ready for it. They're ready for big reds in the corner if he wins, and small reds in the corner if he doesn't. And the special thing is, the ones he actually makes, they'll give him a tiny little hammer to hammer on a little bit of gold flake onto that T. The tiny little T in the corner is going to be gold. It's going to be gold, like his sneakers. Yeah, because he's so down with the folks. He's so down and ready with the street cred kids. He's like dancing and skating and sliding. He's bopping, man. Bopping about the street. I sound like that Pee Wee Herman uncle that they had on Fox News, and I'm trying to do that deliberately. Here's the difference between me and Donald Trump. Donald Trump staggers down walkways. Yeah, that's what he did. And then he stutters and mumbles and forgets people's names. Yep, he did that and he's still doing it. He blamed people for things that they had nothing to do with. Mixed up the names of foreign leaders he'd met and made pacts with, shook their hands. Yeah, Donald Trump can't remember a goddamn bloody thing, can he? It's almost like he's on drugs or something.
So the fact that we even showed up today, and we showed up early, and it wasn't to make sure that we could keep the lights in the government open. That's not why we showed up early. We showed up early because they wanted to take an opportunity to take punches at the president's son. And I am going to re-urge...
Yeah, I'd like to re-urge you to reconsider and reinvigorate yourselves and understand what all this means. It's all just propaganda. Even I am propaganda. I've forgotten 15,000 million things more than I thought I could even remember. Even though I've remembered 50 billion, 10 billion, million, trillion Trump sayings, and I can't remember one of them that makes sense.
The American people to recognize. We're talking about his son. We're talking about someone who is an actual citizen, just a regular citizen. We're not talking about...
I didn't think we were talking about gods, or angels, or fairies, or munchkins, or little people, or magicians, or... I don't know, there's a name for people that don't exist but exist. Yeah, gods. Right. None of that matters. Right. Go on, Gil.
Somebody who could not pass a background check, yet somehow ended up being appointed to his administration. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a son that was struggling, a son that lost his mom, a son that lost his brother, a son that lost his sister, a son that has had a father that has been in politics since he was 2 years old. This has been his life. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he can't do. I'm telling you that this is a waste of time, and we need to get back to this people's work. I am tired. The Republicans are going to lose the House, and y'all run this back for them when they do. They're going to lose the House because they have lost focus of what our job is, and our job is to take care of the American people, and that's the last thing that they've done.
I've got to say something here right now, right? America, Joe Biden, oh my God, look at the things he's done in 3 years. 3. And then he's been fighting, going to be fighting this last year against Trump, and the people, maybe like you, who think that Joe Biden did something bad. We'll point to anything Joe Biden did bad where there's any evidence. Now, I know you're going to say, well, the justice system is wrong, or it's fake, or it's unjust, but you were fine with the justice system when it put people in jail if they were Democrats, but you're not happy with the justice system when it's putting people in jail who are Republicans. And this is your problem. This is where you're making a mistake. They're not putting Democrats or Republicans in jail. They're putting criminals in jail. That's what the justice system does. You don't want a criminal as your politician. Neither a Democrat nor a Republican wants a criminal as their politician. I need to go and deal with something. I'm going to quit now and I'll see you later.